If you lift heavy, this might surprise you. That pressure you feel down there might not be your hip flexors or your bladder. It might just be your pelvic floor muscles. And most guys, not even the strongest ones, have an idea how much this muscle group can impact performance, recovery, and long-term health. Now we all know about the core, the quads, and the glutes, but your pelvic floor is the literal base of the support system. It supports your bladder, your bowels, and your sexual function. So every time you go to brace under the barbell, that pressure you build, your pelvic floor is part of that system. Ideally, it works with your diaphragm and core to control that intra-abdominal pressure. So here's where most lifters go wrong. Too many of them are over-bracing, suboptimally positioning their rib cage as they breathe. When they're generating a lot of intra-abdominal pressure, they take a deep breath, hold it, and push down hard. That creates this massive pressure buildup, but instead of distributing it evenly around your rib cage, that pressure is often forced downwards onto your pelvic floor. You get away with this for a while, but do this over and over and over again, and you might start noticing groin pain, pelvic tenderness, leaking after heavy sets, or even erectile dysfunction. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, we have solutions. The story isn't simply lifting heavy causes pelvic floor weakness or damage. Lifting weights is actually a really good thing. I'd encourage everybody to do it. But yes, heavy loads do create a lot of intra-abdominal pressure, and it is especially important for powerlifters and heavy strength trainers to recognize what their pelvic floor is doing during these tasks. But if you look at the data, one controlled study found no immediate drop of pelvic floor strength in women after squats or deadlifts at 75 to 85% of their 1 rep max. On the other hand, one study shows very high rates of pelvic floor dysfunction in competitive lifters. One study found 61.8% of men had anal incontinence and 9.3% reported urinary leakage. So why the discrepancy? It's got nothing to do with the gender of the lifter, but what matters isn't just how much you lift, it's how you lift, how you brace, and how you train your pelvic floor. So let's break this down. If you hold your breath and push down on your pelvic floor while you lift, that pressure can overload your pelvic floor. Over time with chronic loading, such as high volume training, frequent max lifts, maybe you have a higher BMI, and you don't allow for a lot of recovery with things like relaxation and stretching, these things can all increase chronic pelvic stress. And if you think pelvic floor work is just for women, you are missing half the story. The best male powerlifters in the world train their breathing, bracing, and pelvic control as part of their foundation for their movement strategies. The good news, you can absolutely lift heavy while protecting your pelvic floor. Here's how. When you inhale, expand your ribs, not your belly. As you brace, gently lift your pelvic floor up and not down. Control your exhale as you come out of the lift. Don't dump the pressure all at once. This creates a coordinated, pressure-managed core, one that makes you feel more stable, efficient, and reduces your injury risk. So next time you squat or go to lift really heavy, remember that technique and training matter the most when it comes to chronic repetitive stress. Remember, your pelvic floor is part of your core system, and understanding it can be the biggest performance upgrade you never know you needed. I'm Junichi, a men's health physiotherapist. Subscribe for more real, evidence-based ways to improve your pelvic floor and live pain-free. Thanks for watching.